Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today we are gonna talk about how to go from a napkin sketch to a photorealistic rendering. And I'm gonna kind of go through what tools I use and why I'm using the tools that I'm using. So first of all, as you see on the screen, I've put together two, let's call it sketches, something that could be like a napkin sketch or something that normally somebody maybe will draw on a paper, right? So the first thing first, whenever you are bringing a sketch into an AI, you have to make sure that, first of all, you are able to understand the sketch, right? So you are able to kind of understand what sort of is an opening, what could be glazing, what could be a vertical material, what could be a horizontal material. So you want to give the AI enough information so you actually understand that. So not different than giving these to a human, right? So these are two sketches that I grabbed from Pinterest. So they are not necessarily mine, but I was able to kind of identify two good examples that you should look at and be like, okay, this is the level of detail that I start kind of getting some interesting results. So with that being said, now we're going to go to the tools that I'm using, right? So let's say you start already with sketch like this. So you already kind of went there, spent 10 minutes on drawing an idea, and just understand that this principle works the same for interior design and exterior design, right? So just kind of keep that in mind as long as you give that sort of like detail enough that it's somebody's able to understand. So let's go first of all with the tool that I use. Now you can use different tools out there. There is tools like Artlist, OpenArt, Creo AI, you have Veras. There's so many tools out there. You can even go to Claude and tell Claude, hey, could you please give me an idea, like how many tools, what tools can I use? I use OpenArt just because sometimes I do videos too, and I just like allow the flexibility. Is not necessarily the cheapest model out there, the cheapest website out there for this, but I like the idea that it allows you to use different models. And also because I'm not utilizing that many images a month, it's okay me paying a little premium per image if I have the flexibility of choose models. And by using several models, I mean that whenever I'm trying to, for instance, render something here, let's say I'm gonna go to recreate image, I'm able to actually, let's say I'm going to go here and create an image. I'm able to utilize different models. That's what I mean by creating a different model, right? That I'm able to go here. Sometimes I would like to use the auto, meaning that it will try to utilize where is the best model for my use case. But most of the time, it's just better when you choose the model. Sometimes I will go with the OpenAI GP, like Image 2 model, or sometimes I will go with a Nano Banana Pro model. Those are the two that I tend to use the most. As you can see there, you have Grok, you have Recraft, you have Seedream, you have Clean. Clean is very good for images. You have Flux. So there's a lot of models you can use. If you're going to use images, I would suggest you just stay between a Nano Banana Pro and the GPT Image 2.0. So with that being said, there's another benefit of utilizing models like this. And this is something you can still use in any model. So this is a model that I'm using, but try to use the same principles as if you're using your preferable, option, right? But I'm using, in this case, OpenArt. And if you haven't used OpenArt, I would just suggest you to kind of look at it. I don't really want to go into the pricing or things like that, just because I'm not really being sponsored by them. I think it's just a good tool to use. I think, honestly, it's not that different from all the other tools out there, because ultimately the most important thing is the model, not really the tool. If you want to go deeper into AI in architecture, make sure to join our community, Gaia Academy. I will put the link in the description below. So this is the community where architects want to learn generative AI, and we want to not just educate ourselves with AI, but we also want to get resources, workflows, templates, and at the same time, we want to network with people that are interested in AI within architecture. So make sure to join in the description below. And with that being said, let's jump in. But anyhow, so something I like is that, for instance, you're able to drag one image in here, right? With that being said, from that image, I'm able to kind of do something really simple, right? So I can say like something like create a photorealistic image. And then here it is, a photorealistic, let's call it perspective of, and then you call add image 1, and it will automatically take that as the main reference, right? And then from there I'll say comma, I will say vertical wood siding for walls. There's also plenty of glazing on the second floor. On the second floor, surrounded by Scandinavian nature, right? Something like that. So the great thing I really like about this is that, first of all, you can choose a model, right? So I go and pick Nano Banana Pro. I go and give it a description. But the great thing is, like, later on, you can go here and enhance your prompt. And it's great because it kind of optimizes it to the model. You can also have the auto polish, but I prefer to just have it as manual. So just so I can sometimes like copy my original, so then I can build a library of those. So then from here, you can go ahead, read the description, the new description that was generated, and then you can edit this. Also, the great thing I like about it is that you can create outputs, right? So normally I will go with a 16:9 output, and I'll go at 2K resolution. And another thing that I like is that you can create batches. So instead of just creating one image per rendering, so for instance, if I use Gemini, I normally can only go for one image and then wait and then create another one and then create another one. Sometimes you can do batches, but here it's just so easy. You just go here to the analog, go to 4. It tells you how much it's going to cost, and you just generate. And you will just a couple seconds, and then it will start generating images from there. But you see how that's the workflow when you're creating images with that. So let's say I like this one here, right? So with this image here, what you can also do is you can go ahead and create variations of this image. So you can say, let's call it simple. Make it sunset and make it sunset. Okay, right. Let's just keep it very simple right now. Let's just say 4:3. Now just try to keep the same ratio, right? And I'm going to give it a creativity level of maybe 20, so it doesn't really alter too much the image. And you can create, let's say, 2 iterations of this. So the great thing is that you can start making those changes. So for instance, if I click on another image here, you can also upscale that. You can also, another great thing this thing has is you can change the camera angle here. So if I go here and say, hey, I want to go a little bit more to the right side here, right? To here to the right. Or maybe I want to go see maybe there. And maybe I want to have more like an aerial view. And you can kind of come here and you see how now it has this aerial view. And then you can come here and they say, I'm going to keep it in ultra. And I'm going to say default, and I'm going to give it like a generator right here. And you see how you can create, once you have like a concept that you really like from there, you can create several views of that same image, right? So for instance, if I come here and say image reference, you see how he brought the image reference into here. So the only thing at this point I need to give it, maybe I'm going to say lighting style, Nordic, light warm, siding, 2 figures. So here it is. So you see how it says Nordic overcast light. I'm going to say, I'm going to call it sunset light, sunset environment, right? Warm exterior, cooling light, right? So let's just take all that out and let's just say sunset, right? So that's something you need to kind of vary. Like sometimes it will read it, sometimes you will have to figure out what is the same. If you want to go deeper into AI in architecture, make sure to join our community, Gaia Academy. I will put the link in the description below. So this is the community where architects want to learn generative AI, and we want to not just educate ourselves with AI, but we also want to get resources, workflows, templates, and at the same time, we want to network with people that are interested in AI within architecture. So make sure to join in the description below. And with that being said, let's jump in. So now let's go here and look at this now. You see how he was able to bring the camera out, and then from there you can just create variations of that. So maybe if it's not doing it quite accurately, or maybe kind of change something, you can kind of create variations and kind of go from there. But look at that. So you see how now he was able to create the sunset. You see, that's great. And then for it, like for instance, if here you're saying like, oh, well, this is kind of pixel, like it's kind of creating some weird shapes here. You're able to upscale the image from there, right? And you can make it like a precise or refine or creative. Ultra skin enhancement, let's gonna say on just for the sake of it. And I'm gonna say generate. Okay. So with that being said, that's something you can do. And again, this is ideation, so don't expect things to be 100% perfect. What's normally going to happen is that you're going to see that out of the 20 images that you create, maybe there's 4 that you would like to stitch together. So what I would recommend is to take those images, bring those to Photoshop, masks them, and then you can stitch kind of what you want about each one. And then you can create, let's call it a Frankenstein of what's your best image out there. I know it takes a little extra time, but you are creating a really good image in maybe half an hour, right? Once you kind of put those edits into place. Okay, so let's say you see how now it has that 4K image. That's great. You see how much more resolution it has now. That's cool. Something else you can do is you can expand the image, right? So from there, you can make it even more. So you think like, okay, that's great, but I would like to kind of maybe get a little bit more in environment. You can expand it a little bit, right? And then you can generate. You can even put like a description if you want to change something. I should have only done 2 of them, but that's okay. Yep. So you can do that. And then you can from there also, if you wanted to create videos, but again, this is great for you to generate some references. Like if you want to show these to an architect or a designer and you have an idea in mind and you know kind of how to draw a little bit, not even that much, but you're able to generate some scribbles, you can always bring that into an AI and it can help you develop a conceptual design, kind of that you can then take it to an architect, or the architect can develop this for himself, but then is able to actually bring these to a BIM environment where it can actually make it make sense. Also, something that I like about this is that you can use it for different things. So you cannot just use it for images, you can use it for videos, you can create your own character of just a picture of you, and then that person can talk. So there's a lot of things. You can use it for social media. You can use it for just complete creativity, right? You can just give it like a mood board and you can you can add as many references as you want. So in the images part, you can bring it as many images. So you can bring this image here, you can bring another image here, and you can tell it like, hey, I want you to render in this, but I want you to use the reference of image 2 and I want you to bring it from here. Now, something to consider though is the more references you give it, the more is it gonna potentially create problems. So you just wanna make sure that you keep it very concise, as simple as possible, and the better results it's gonna give you. If you wanna go deeper into AI in architecture, make sure to join our community, Gaia Academy. I will put the link in the description below. So this is the community where architects wanna learn generative AI, and we wanna not just educate ourselves with AI, but we also wanna get resources, workflows, templates, and at the same time, we want to network with people that are interested in AI within architecture. So make sure to join in the description below. And with that being said, let's jump in. But this is the workflow. Normally, you will take a sketch. I'll suggest OpenArt. You can always take it to Gemini because it has the Nano Banana Pro version. You can use ChatGPT. And whenever you give it a prompt, but before that, I will say, help it to help you enhance the prompt, right? Because whenever you enhance the prompt, generally speaking, it gives you better results. That's one of the reasons why I really like this, just because it just does that automatically to a point where like, it just saves me that extra 3 minutes that you will have to go to Gemini or ChatGPT and say like, hey, see this prompt, see this image, help me enhance the image, right? Yeah, again, I probably need to redo this one, right? Because it's already kind of screwed up from the beginning. I should have maybe not done that. But anyhow, so that's more or less how you do it, right? That's the workflow. And I hope this helped. And I'll see you in the next one.